Have you ever wondered what happens to your brain when you stop masturbating? It's a thought that has crossed many minds, sparking curiosity and sometimes concern. Today we embark on a journey to understand this intriguing subject. We'll explore the mysterious realm of our brains, specifically focusing on dopamine, a neurotransmitter that plays a significant role in our pleasure and reward systems. Stay tuned as we delve into the science behind this fascinating topic. Before we explore the effects of masturbation, let's first understand what dopamine is. Dopamine is a type of neurotransmitter, which is a fancy way of saying it's a chemical messenger. It's produced in several areas of the brain, including the substantia nigra and the ventral tegmental area. Now, dopamine wears many hats in the brain. It plays a role in how we move, for one thing. But perhaps most notably, dopamine is a key player in the brain's reward system. It helps regulate mood, motivation, and attention. When you do something pleasurable, dopamine levels in your brain shoot up. That's your brain saying, "Hey, I like that, do it again." And it's not just about pleasure. Dopamine is also about anticipation. It's the feeling of excitement you get when you're about to open a gift, or when you're planning a trip. It's the thrill of the chase, the joy of the journey. It's about wanting, seeking, and desiring. It's what drives us to explore, discover, and create. Now, dopamine levels aren't static. They can be influenced by a whole host of activities. Eating a delicious meal, exercising, listening to music, getting a good night's sleep. All of these can boost your dopamine levels. Even the act of learning something new can give you a dopamine hit. And yes, that includes sexual activities like sex and masturbation. But here's the thing, not all dopamine boosters are created equal. Some activities like taking drugs or consuming lots of sugar can lead to a dopamine surge that's so intense it throws your brain's reward system out of whack. This can lead to a vicious cycle where you need more and more of the same stimulus to get the same dopamine rush. So dopamine plays a crucial role in our feelings of pleasure, but how does this relate to masturbation? Masturbation, like many pleasurable activities, triggers a release of dopamine in our brain. Now let's unpack that. What happens in the brain when we masturbate? To answer that, we need to dive into the world of neurochemicals. You see, when we masturbate, our brain's reward system kicks into high gear, releasing a cocktail of neurotransmitters. One of the key players in this mix is dopamine, often dubbed as the feel-good chemical. This dopamine surge is responsible for that wave of satisfaction, pleasure, and even euphoria that we experience during and after masturbation. Think of dopamine like a reward token. Every time you do something pleasurable, like eating your favorite food, listening to a great song, or yes, masturbating, your brain hands out these tokens. It's your brain's way of saying, "Hey, that was fun, let's do that again." Now, the release of dopamine isn't just limited to making us feel good in the moment. It also plays a crucial role in motivation, reinforcing the desire to repeat the actions that led to the pleasure in the first place. This is why we might find ourselves reaching for that dopamine hit time and again. But here's the thing. While dopamine plays a vital role in our survival, promoting behaviors necessary for our well-being, it can also lead us down the path of excess. Over time, our brain can get accustomed to the high levels of dopamine released during masturbation, leading to what's known as the dopamine desensitization. This means that over time, the same activity won't give you the same hit of pleasure, leading you to seek more intense stimuli to achieve the same level of satisfaction. So, in the context of masturbation, this dopamine release is a double-edged sword. It can provide pleasure and satisfaction, yes, but it can also lead to a cycle of seeking and habituation, where the same stimulus no longer provides the same level of pleasure. This dopamine rush is part of what makes masturbation a rewarding activity for many people. But what happens when you stop? When you stop masturbating, your brain undergoes what we call a dopamine shift. Now you might wonder, what exactly is this dopamine shift? Well, think of it as your brain's way of readjusting and recalibrating itself. You see, when you masturbate frequently, your brain gets used to a certain level of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. It's like having a favorite dessert every day. Your brain starts expecting and craving for that sugar rush. But what happens when you suddenly remove that dessert, or in this case, stop the activity that's been providing those regular dopamine surges? Here's where the dopamine shift comes into play. Your brain, being the incredibly adaptable organ that it is, begins to adjust to the absence of these dopamine surges. It starts seeking other avenues to satisfy its dopamine cravings. This adjustment period, this shift, can lead to several potential effects. Firstly, you might notice changes in your mood. You may feel a bit down or irritable initially as your brain misses its dopamine dessert. This is a natural response, and it's important to be patient with yourself during this period. Secondly, you could experience fluctuations in your motivation levels. Dopamine plays a significant role in our drive to achieve goals. So, without the regular dopamine surges from masturbation, your brain may push you to seek other rewarding activities. This could be anything from exercising more, to picking up a new hobby, or even improving your social interactions. Lastly, you might see changes in your focus. With less dopamine-induced distractions, you may find it easier to concentrate on tasks and be more productive. However, it's crucial to remember that everyone's brain is different. The way your brain responds to the dopamine shift may not be the same as others. Some might experience these effects more intensely, while others might notice subtle changes. So, stopping masturbation can lead to significant changes in your brain's dopamine activity. But remember, everyone's experience with this will be unique. So, we've explored the role of dopamine and the effects of masturbation on this crucial neurotransmitter. We've learned that dopamine is integral to our pleasure and reward system. Masturbation can cause a surge in dopamine levels, leading to a temporary sense of satisfaction. But when we stop, a dopamine shift occurs, potentially leading to increased focus, energy, and motivation. Understanding these processes can help us make informed decisions about our behaviors and their impact on our brains. Thanks for watching. 4.